I know. Gold is going to the moon. Dollar is definitely rolling over right now. And the Fed are done hiking. There's a little bit of a change there. So the obvious question is, why isn't Bitcoin moving? So yeah, we're going to talk about those three things really. Should we get into it? I think we should. We need to talk firstly about Mr. Powell. And I do like Mr. Powell. I know people in the comments will disagree. But I worry when he goes. I do. I think things are going to be very, very different. Obviously, yes, you could talk about the Fed have ended the tightening cycle, which kind of happened like a month ago. Hikes are off the table completely. So it's only going to be cuts and pauses for now. So yeah, there's stuff happening here that's good and bad, obviously. Inflation pressure is tariff driven at the minute, which is what he has been saying. So we've got to talk about that. But we've got to talk about stability. Powell is openly saying there's a political warfare here, and you can see it there. Stay out of electoral politics, which I get it, but I'm from the UK, so I know it's a different system, and I'll perfectly admit I'm out my depth with that. So the situation I have is, yeah, there was a rate pause yesterday, and you can see here, Fed policymakers, there's no real indication at the minute for a long, long time probably that we're ever going to see a rate hike unless something breaks, which brings me on to why is certain things happening. Obviously, you got the 10-year yield rose to 4.25%, while the yield for the 2-year treasury is still trickling up. They're not going down. Like, okay, so we have to be, really, really careful. And it goes on to Trump, and it goes on to me saying, as I say, I don't really understand it. But if Trump is going to bring in someone to kind of be a bit of a puppet, now this is the thing, right? Everyone talks about Powell being the policymaker. It's not. There's 12 people that vote. You can see here, 10 to 2. Because we need to talk about gold. We need to talk about stuff that's happening. And I put an X post out the other day saying I'm a little bit worried. And Peter Schiff, who is highly respected in the gold world, not very in cryptocurrency because he hates it, but talking about how this rally and the warning that inflation and situations around the dollar collapsing, which we will talk about as well, could be a bit of an issue. It does remind me of 2008 to 2011, sorry. Because when you look at the charts, there was a big spike there. Obviously, gold will always move first with macro stress. Okay, that's a problem. We've often got to talk about how, currency debasement and stability around the dollar being not so stable, let's be honest, could be a bit of an issue here. Gold pumping is a capital protection asset, and it's an exercise for that, obviously. So yeah, it makes me wonder for obvious reasons, because look at this. This is the world of commodities currently. It's a bit wild, isn't it, boys and girls? Because even this is not talking about metals. This is commodities. This is the energy sector. Look at some of the stuff there. What? Like, Why? We scroll down. Look at metals. What? It's absolutely wild. And this is the thing. And I talked about it on my Patreon yesterday, and feel free to jump in. There's a link below. This is generational. We've never seen this for a long, long time. Like, these sort of returns so quickly. Look, you'll see the chart in a minute. It's absolutely crazy. So that sort of situation makes me wonder. But that is just the world of metals and commodities currently at the minute. But let's talk about the dollar. We'll look at trading view just for simplicity, but it's rolling over a little bit. Easing the pressure, not the collapse, you could argue, but it definitely looks like it's starting to panic a little bit and it's dropping. Whether this goes into the 90s, back down into COVID levels, essentially, could be very, very interesting. So this is interesting. This is the thing, right? There's a lot of people talking about how the stock market is rising. Peter Schiff was one of them, other people as well, because of inflation, because the dollar is dying and every other value is going up because it's attached to something else, which is obviously people and, demand, whatever. So yeah, it makes you wonder realistically, doesn't it? So a weaker dollar normally is bullish for everything, right? And we'll talk about Bitcoin in a minute. But why hasn't Bitcoin moved? Why are we seeing this situation where the FX market's gone to the moon? We've got the FTSE doing fantastic for the first time, Europe doing fantastic for the first time for a while versus US stocks. US stocks have been a bit topsy-turvy for the last, 6 months, but on average have been doing very, very well. Obviously gold, we've talked about silver. And, just to kind of quantify, if you're living under a rock and you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is gold. It's pretty mental. Obviously, silver. What? So we have to be very, very mindful. And this is why I say on X, anyone concerned yet? Because I am. And I think something is going to happen at some point. And this is the thing as well. And I talk about investing on my other channel, Your Money Mate. Have a little look about personal finance and ultimately the stock market. Everyone's winning, apart from us, Bitcoiners, right? We're in the world of Bitcoin. And I use Bitcoin as my growth engine. And then I will put that money into the stock market. And that's me. That's simply it. And we talk about stock market. There's earnings coming out. It's going a bit mental. But why isn't Bitcoin moving? So should we talk about that? I think we should. Now, I won't mince my words, but I want to talk about Bitcoin in honest opinions. Not a lot's happening right now, but we are holding in terms of the price metric. And if we are talking about inflation and liquidity and people running away from certain things because they're scared, it's all going into silver and gold. Bitcoin is actually doing all right in that sense. It's a liquidity layer that we have a problem with. When we think about liquidity, we think about volume coming in. It's been quite flat, and it has been for the last 6 months. So let's be honest, not even like you can see that it's on the chart. Since September, it's been awful, and it's tied in with a lot of things, right? We move with liquidity, we move with cycles, we move with hype. We are very speculative still. Yes, end of hikes, yeah. Start of easing, maybe. Cool. Stability in that sense might be good for the balance sheet of America, but is it going elsewhere? Potentially at the minute, yes. Whether that rotates back into Bitcoin is another situation, but we are realistically following the 4-year cycle to a T. People hate to admit that. We will at some point change, but it may be in the next 6 to 12 months, give or take. So we have to be very, very careful. It isn't so much asleep, it's just waiting and chilling. Bitcoin is still an emerging asset. It's still very, very new. It's like, Christ, you think about like the amount of people that say to me, oh, I wish I bought like gold in 2020. Fuck off. No, you never. Because let's be honest here, if you bought Bitcoin in 2020, you'd be still up 10x pretty much versus say what gold would have been. People just got entries totally wrong. People cannot handle the volatility and get rattled out. People look at this and go, oh my God, we're going to go and die. We're not. We're probably going to go down here, probably going to get a load more bags, and we're probably going to go higher again. You got to think longevity, long term. You got to think of this like the S&P for the cryptocurrency market. This is the pulse currently, right? I know it looks like shit, but ultimately, what would you rather be? Buying gold or silver at absolute euphoric levels, or buying something that is chilling, cool, and probably going to go higher anyways, regardless of over the course of time, because it has similar properties that could do well once trusted. It has better scarcity model as well, which is massive in itself. By the way, if you don't have TradingView, I think you should. There's a link below to this. You save $15 on your plan. It has literally everything now. It's like a one-stop shop, and you've probably seen this on my channel for years, but I'm starting to use it more and more. It's really, really cool. But this is the thing. Let's talk about psychology, and I put my YouTube channel on here because it's literally dying a death, and that is the thing. Positioning in the market has proven to me time and time again that people in crypto just go to the next shiny object. There's so many people that have left the world of crypto because the prices have moved, but they've failed to witness and zoom out the fact that it has moved over the course of time. Personally, I'm not chasing gold. I'm not chasing silver. I am not a metals buff. I just not, right? Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But the thing is, people are treating metals like an investment when realistically they're not. Just because of the time frame is going up a lot, it's usually a hedge. It's usually a thing where it's protecting of assets, where it should hopefully do well with inflation. It kind of has and it hasn't over the course of the last decade. But until what now? Everyone's talking about it because that's a thing. Bitcoin has outperformed them, obviously, depending on when you bought, obviously. But for me, I'm still continuing my dollar cost average challenge. If you jump in Patreon, you'll know more information about that, obviously. But the reality is here, you should have a plan. And that plan, you should stick to it. If, like you're like me, you're using Bitcoin as the growth engine, then you're going to go into, say, the stock market as profit to build longer term wealth or into other assets, cool. But you shouldn't change your plan just because one thing's gone to the moon. That's just not how investing works. That becomes a problem because you flip-flop it. This is a phase where emotional traders or investors will get genuinely restless because they're missing the boat. They're getting FOMO, obviously. Now, for me, I don't need Bitcoin to move today. I want it to move in the next 10 to 20 years. That's the point. I want to be able to sell less Bitcoin when I'm older and use that to live. Because I believe, personally, it's going to be worth more. That is what all the generations do with gold. Realistically, it's just a different time set. And sometimes silence is king, and Bitcoin can be. And you can see that on my analytics. It's absolute dog's dinner at the minute. No one gives a shit about crypto right now. And that might be a good thing. You always buy when conviction is boring, not when it's wild. If you're thinking now, I should buy gold at $5,500, you're probably playing the wrong game. But there we go. Realistically, what will change my view? Not a lot. Maybe when I'm old, I'll probably have gold and silver as a wealth element when I'm old and fat or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we have to be very, very mindful of what happens next. So yeah, if not yet done so, watch this. There's links to all the stuff that I use. If you want to jump in Blowfin, there's a really good introduction offer there. And obviously Patreon if you want more of my content, because that's usually where I am. Or my second channel, which is called Your Money Mate.